When I sit down to write, I'm trying to find what my voice wants to do. Like, I want to find what I want to sing. I don't think I have these. I've hardly ever written a song to a set of lyrics. I mean, it doesn't work for me that way. I have to sit down and go, what do I feel like singing? And I think that's such a emotional. It's emotional and beyond. And so the words kind of I'm trying to wrap the words around the feeling, I guess, that I'm having.
Hi, and welcome to The Spark, where we meet the real people behind great works of art. Today on the program, songwriter Patty Griffin. So stay tuned. We've got The Spark. Patty Griffin is an astounding singer and an astounding writer. It's nearly mind-boggling. I'm one of her many, many admirers, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. If you aren't familiar with her music, please go have your mind blown. We met together in Austin, Texas at the Hotel St. Cecilia. Check it out. What does your writing process look like?
I have to have some kind of. I'm a wanderer. I have a wandering mind, and I'm a little fire maker. And meaning, I start a project and I see something within the project that's not writing, and then I get going on that. And so when I write, I try to have a routine, very specific routine. I set my alarm clock if I have to get started on it, and. It involves morning time, quiet time, writing time in the morning, just writing, no music. And
You write in the morning, whether you're writing songs or not, you just write like poems or prose or journally or...
All of it, whatever it comes up.
Can we see?
No. No. Oh, no. I tried to maintain my physical health because that is really hard to do on the road. So
yeah.
I put an extra effort into that when I'm at home. And then I try to do some writing or some singing in the afternoon so that by the time night rolls around, the pressure is off to get when you're a singer, it's an athlete's job, really, and you really have to keep that muscle working for it, the writing to work with it. And so try to get some of that done during the day, and then at night, that's when they're, as far as writing music, that's a little more productive for me, usually.
Yeah.
And by then, I've had both the music and the pressure-free from writing, singing, and the pressure-free from music, writing. And then I try to put them together at night. They're a little more relaxed. So
I struggle with that a lot because I feel like I could spend all my time writing, or I could spend all my time like studying music or practicing singing or playing.
Yes.
And to tackle both, it seems like there's not enough time in my whole life.
Exactly. And then forget having a life.
Yeah, don't even bother. I know. I mean, just there's so far to go. Do you consider yourself a writer first or a singer first, or?
I think it's one package. I could be wrong about that, but sure. I've been assigned a project of learning for the first time in my life. I'm making a gospel record, which was somebody else's idea, and I'm learning covers for a record in large part. I've written a little bit for it, but it's so interesting to work as a singer would work and try to think like
practice.
And just it's not as pressure free as I thought it would be.
Oh, that's good to know.
I'm a little more nervous about it, I think, than I am even having to write for something.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It was a surprise to me.
Yeah. And then, because performing is a whole nother aspect of all this. I mean, there's writing lyrics, writing music, and then performing, which is a whole nother. You have to be good at this,
right?
Which I feel like it's just luck.
Yeah.
how that comes out.
Well, I think like performing is usually fun. I mean, you can get so tired where your voice hurts and you're just
Yeah.
in a bad mood and it's not fun, and then you are really performing. Then it's show business time. But we're so lucky we get to do that.
I know.
And it's pretty darn fun to get up there and make noise.
It sounds like there's a lot of extraneous creativity going on when you're writing. Is it parallel to what you're writing about, or is it just trying to get to that deeper place? Is it all sort of for writing songs, or how does it fit, or doesn't?
You know what? So far it's been for writing songs, but I try to, in my mind, stay open to whatever that.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard to stay open. I want it to be, I'm such a control freak, I think, in that, I want it to work for writing, and it doesn't necessarily, it takes its sweet time, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that having the time to have a creative process, not have a day job, and that took me many years to figure out, because I think I was really good at the discipline, structuring some sort of discipline for myself against some other, time rigidity that was going on in my life. And when that disappeared, I was really lost for a while.
Really?
I got a lot of work done, but I didn't think I was getting any work done because it just felt like a big muck. And I think over time I've calmed down a little bit about that.
It seems like sometimes when I'm writing and I have a whole day, it can go by so fast, but it can also be like,
oh my God,
excruciatingly slow.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of James Baldwin, and there's something he wrote. I forget which book it was in. It was about circling the typewriter for 3 weeks, usually, before he would start writing, and that made me feel a lot better.
When you bought your guitar and were writing songs, was it just something you did for yourself, or how did you think about it?
Well, I wanted to sing when I was about 12 years old, and I think that was all about like getting attention and, getting to wear cute clothes, and you know what I mean. I wanted to be a rocker. And
did you?
Yeah, and I didn't have any idea how to make that work, and I remember going to a guitar lesson and a guitar teacher saying, there's lots of singers, but if you can write a song, no, there you go. And I had always written poetry separately, but I had written songs goofing around, I think, but I hadn't really thought of it as something I would put together. And I know that sounds really strange, but I hadn't.
No, I don't think you, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's just one step at a time, whatever it is that triggers it.
Right.
But I know you've talked about being shy, but I love that you wanted to be a rocker when you were 12 years old.
I know.
That's great.
Yeah, well, the best rock band I've ever seen, I think they were called Lolita 17, and they were Japanese women who were probably, I'm 5'3" and 3/4", and they were probably up to my shoulder, the tallest one. They were so small and so good. I mean, really on fire, really edgy, and just like one of the best rock shows I've ever seen. It was a pre-South by Southwest show a few years ago, and to me that's perfect. It's like it's a tiny little island that all these people are living on, and they have to really behave themselves. It's a stage for them to really let loose. And when you're shy, it makes perfect sense to me that you would want to get up on a stage and go, blah,
In a safe place.
Right.
Yep.
Contained environment.
What did you do with the intensity that you had before you really were writing songs?
That's an interesting question. I think I was storing it up, actually, because I had a lot. I got married in my 20s, and to somebody that was probably not the best person to marry, but I didn't really know any better at the time, and
Sure.
it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. And that was a difficult time for the reason,
Yeah.
it wasn't a great fit. And I was waiting on tables in Harvard Square, which I was a smart girl and without a lot of money, and I didn't go to college, and I was very angry a lot of the time.
It's hard not to be angry when you're waiting on tables.
It's hard not to be angry. We talked about that before. And I was like being on an island, being on a small island and trying to behave myself because I really needed the money. And I didn't really know how to get from A to B. I just knew had to hang on.
I think about the time before I really got to be doing what I'm doing, and I was so isolated before I found this way to get it out, and I'm just so thankful that I'm not isolated like that anymore.
I also, in that time, I think I spent so much time trying to hold it in that I didn't know how to write that way. I knew how to write in code around what I was really feeling, but it really wasn't until the marriage went away and that job went away when I really felt like I had the space to, actually it just kind of erupted in my writing, at that time. So
do you think about your writing process as a really direct, because I think about your writing as it's like a razor beam. It's so focused and it's conversational, but it's like plugged into this dream cosmos, at the same time. I was wondering if it's a really direct thing or if you revise a lot or...
I think emotionally, if I'm going to bother with it, it is direct. But I love tweaking too. I can tweak for months.
I was wondering what increment of time you were going to choose.
Isn't it fun? When
you've
been singing a line a certain way, it's bugging you. It's just, you love everything else, and then
and
suddenly
as long as you have an idea that you're happy with, it feels good to spend time on it.
You try on a different, put a different sleeve on that dress, and just keep on changing the sleeves.
What does it look like if you're writing? I would be so horrified if someone saw me writing.
I've never thought of that.
But what does it look like?
Think about it.
I am generally in the same outfit and not well groomed, and I talk to myself a lot, and I walk a lot, I think.
Yeah, I live in the sweatpants, that's for sure. It's not a pretty picture.
But it sounds like you're really disciplined with your writing.
I have no choice, because if I didn't focus on that, I would not be disciplined at all. You know what I mean? I have to impose discipline over this, or it will not work for me. I really admire those people who will just write all the time. They go out on the road and they're in their hotel room and they not worried about the person next door, and they make a lot of noise and they write a song. Fine, the person next door is going to survive, and they can write their song. That's who they are. I'm not that person.
I really wish I could just live in that writing place all the time, but I can't. And I wondered if you could.